After 10 years in Colorado, it was time to come home. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. My name is SeanEazy. In this one, I would like to talk to you about the previous 10 years or so of my life that I spent out in Denver, Colorado Springs, the state of Colorado. I recently just got back to South Dakota about a month ago. And I feel like after being back here for about a month and getting settled in and getting back here in my hometown and all that stuff, it's time to just, talk about it. So let's just dive in. So obviously I'm from South Dakota, born and raised, was here for like 20 or so years. I'm in my 30s now, I'm past the age of 30. And like I said, I spent the previous 10 years in mostly Denver and more recently Colorado Springs. Now, when I left South Dakota back in about 2016, I was only out there for about 9. I called it 10, but it was really 9. I left South Dakota about 9 years ago. When I was here, I had a house. I have since sold that house. I had a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in a place called Mission Hill, South Dakota. It was a pretty nice house, pretty decent sized. I had a pretty good job when I was here in South Dakota, but things change. I lost that job, unfortunately. And then, being the age of like 22 or so, or whatever it was at the time, I felt like, after spending 22 years in South Dakota, it was time for a different change of scenery, something new, go to a different place. I'm born and raised, and I lived in an area that barely had like 15,000 people. It's not a very big town. It's called Yankton, by the way. For South Dakota, that's the 7th largest city. Largest city, Sioux Falls, with like 200,000. Second largest city is Rapid City with like 60,000. Third, fourth, and fifth largest cities have like 20 to 30,000. Sixth, seventh, and eighth largest cities have like 10 to 20,000. Yankton, 7th largest city, I don't know. Around here, got a lot of cornfields and just your typical Walmart and McDonald's, Burger King's, factories, and all that stuff to work in. Back then, I figured I didn't want to live here in South Dakota for the rest of my life, I've spent my whole life here at that point. It was time to try something new. Place like Denver. I got 3 older sisters. 2 of them live here in South Dakota. 1 of them live out in Colorado. I would always visit Colorado occasionally. I skateboard, I snowboard, stuff like that. I would always go out and visit Colorado over the winter. I'd board a plane with my snowboard. I'd come out here, stay for about a week, and me and my sister would go to, Arapahoe Basin or Keystone and go snowboarding. So I would occasionally visit Denver and such anyways, and it seemed like a pretty good place, Rocky Mountains. It seemed like an awesome location. It almost seemed like a no-brainer. Big city, a lot of job opportunities. It makes sense, I got the house. I'll just move out here to Colorado. I'll keep the house. I'll lease it out. Someone will rent it. I just will use their rent to pay the mortgage. Pretty typical standard procedure for a lot of people that own a house or own houses and they just want to rent them out. People will pay your rent and you'll just cover your mortgage. And that works fantastic and all if people will actually pay their rent. The whole renting the house out thing didn't work well because, a month here and there you're dealing with people that don't pay their rent and then you're on the hook for the mortgage. Now, my mortgage wasn't a lot of money. It was a $90,000 house. So the mortgage on that 30-year loan was really only like $650. And the rent I was charging people was only $700. I wasn't really expecting a lot of money. I had 3 tenants. First person lasted about 9 months or so, and then he just stopped paying his rent. So I got him out of there. The next people lasted about a month. Stopped paying their rent, got them out of there. Got some new people in, and then it just was the same old that I dealt with the other 2. It's for multiple months, I'm over here having to cover my mortgage, $650, $700 or so out of my own pocket, Because obviously if I don't pay my mortgage, the bank is just going to come and take my house probably, and then, I don't know, you know. So after about trying that for a year or two, 2 or 3 years, you know, I decided that I got tired of people not paying their rent, so instead of trying to keep renting it out, I just sold it. It's like I'm tired of dealing with people not paying their rent, and I'm tired of like being on the hook to pay the $650, $700 mortgage payment occasionally. Like I'm living in Denver, I got rent to pay, car insurance, car note. It's like, you know, I got bills to pay out here in Denver. It's like I gotta pay a mortgage on a house too for a house I'm not even living in. So I sold that. 2018, I sold it in about 2018. Made about $10,000, wiped my hands with it, moved on. Now out in Denver for a couple years, my rent wasn't really like a lot of money. I was actually staying with that sister I talked about. I was staying in her house. Really only paying like $300 in rent. It wasn't like a lot of money or anything like that. But then eventually, you know, I eventually like moved out of her place, and that's when I started living in apartments. Moving back though, after I first got out to Denver, I mean, I was kind of looking for work and looking for a job, but I don't know, I wasn't really finding what I wanted to. Like on paper, it sounded like it was supposed to be easy. Just find a job, get a job. But I don't know. I eventually ended up working for Uber. I signed up for Uber, and I had a vehicle, obviously, so I was doing Uber for a little while. And then I ended up getting an MED badge to work in the marijuana industry. And I got a couple badges for that. I got one right here. It's now expired in 2022. And I had one right before that, expired in 2020. So I think July 2018 or so, I got my MED badge or something like that. I'm not really sure what it was, but yeah, I was working in the marijuana industry for a little while. Now, I could sit here and ramble on about jobs I've worked. I've worked in a variety of jobs. I did the whole working in recreational and medical marijuana, and I know for a lot of places it's illegal, but this is actually a legal license. If you look at the back of the license here, you'll see that it's from Colorado Department of Revenue. Like, I was actually a state employee, so to say. So I worked Uber for a little bit. I was trying to do like a little bit of day trading, and I got the MED badges and stuff. And then I started working for a company called Good Chemistry. I was working in their garden, growing it, you know, harvesting it, trimming it, just everything from just growing marijuana from beginning to end. Totally legal, nothing illegal about it. State employee, paid federal income tax, paid state income tax, all that stuff. Pretty good job. Until it wasn't. After working there about 2019, 2020, I started working for jobs like Amazon and a place called Cons. I worked at Circle K. I worked at a movie theater right around the time of COVID. I've worked in a lot of variety of jobs out in Colorado. But the problem with Colorado is that it's extremely expensive to live in a place like Colorado. Like, I'm back here in South Dakota. I got a 1-bedroom apartment. My rent is $725. A 1-bedroom apartment in Colorado, Denver, Colorado Springs, you're paying like $1,500. Then you got like a girlfriend, or she has like a couple of kids or something, you know, now you're getting a 2 and 3 bedroom. Your rent is now like $2,000, $2,500. It's like, it's ridiculous. And then Colorado, it's crazy to me because right out here right now in South Dakota, I got a job that's paying me like $25 an hour. I'm serious. My rent is $725 here in South Dakota. I got a job that's paying me $25 an hour. If you look out in like Colorado Springs or Denver, you're only getting paid like $17, $18, $19. Like Domino's Pizza's paying $13. Papa Murphy's, a place, I worked at Papa Murphy's for a little bit as a side job. They're paying $13. So it doesn't make sense to me, like Denver and Colorado Springs, it's like you're only making like $17, $18, $19, $20 an hour, and the rent is like $1,500, $2,000, if not more. And then here in South Dakota, in the place I'm at, it's the same pay. The rent is like a third of the price in South Dakota, and I'm making like similar money. I'm actually making a lot more money than I could probably be making out in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me that the rent is double, if not triple, but it's like the same pay. $13 here at Domino's, like you're making $13 out in Colorado working at Domino's too or something, but your rent is like double if not triple. Like Amazon's only paying like 20, you know? Here I'm making 25 working in some job that I'm not going to talk about because I don't know who's going to watch this video, you know, people that don't like me or whatever. People try to like get you fired from your job just because they don't like you or whatever. So I'm probably not going to really talk about what I'm doing here in South Dakota, but I am making pretty good money. Out in Colorado, I don't know. It's like I said, you're making like 17, 18, 19, 20, but the rent is like expensive. It's like too much. It's way too much. Here in South Dakota, there's no homeless people. In Yankton, there's no homeless people. There's not a single homeless person that you're going to find here in Yankton. In Denver, Colorado Springs, there's homeless people everywhere. Stop at any stop sign, you got somebody holding a cardboard sign. Stop at any stop sign. Stop at any intersection. There's literally someone with a cardboard sign begging for money. Get off the interstate, right underneath the overpass. Tent cities everywhere. I never saw homeless people till I went out to Colorado. And it's getting worse. It's getting a lot worse, actually. The homeless population is rising. As wages stay the same, wages haven't changed in like 5 to 10 years, especially for Colorado. The wages are still the same, but the rent keeps going up. Like I had a 1-bedroom apartment like 2016, 2017, or 2018 or something. It was like $1,000 for a 1-bedroom. That same place, I was looking the other day, it's now like $1,500 or something. It's like the cost of living is going up, rent is increasing. The cost of housing, like houses have damn near doubled in like 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like houses are just stupidly expensive. But then wages are like relatively the same. Amazon was still paying like $20 an hour or so like 5 to 10 years ago, and they're still paying $20 an hour today, for example. You know what I'm saying? Like wages have stayed the same, and I think that's a problem for a lot of the country, but I can only speak about the fact that I've been in Colorado the past 10 years. So why am I back? Why am I back in South Dakota, right? Well, I had a 5-year relationship. I'm not going to get into the weeds of those specifics, but obviously I'm not with that person anymore. You know, she has a couple of kids. We're over here renting like 2 or 3 bedrooms. Our rent's like $1,500, $2,000. Jobs aren't paying enough and shit like that. I don't know. It seemed like every month that would go by, I and her, or me, or both of us would be making enough money just to like pay our rent, pay our electric, pay our internet, pay our bills, and pay our car insurance, pay our car note, and all that stuff. And there's no money left over. It's wild. I went out to Colorado with thousands of dollars in my bank account. I came back a month ago with no money. Broke. Literally fucking broke. Literally no money to my name, period. I get my first paycheck in about 11 days finally, and I finally have some money. I'm making like $25 an hour here in South Dakota, with my rent being $7.25 and like my internet's $75 a month. My internet for Xfinity out in Colorado was like double. I don't know how the hell it got to that, but I was paying like over $150 for some goddamn internet. Sometimes $200. I can't explain why. Just was. My electric bill, it's only like $31 at the moment. My electric bill out in Colorado every month was like over $100. Colorado, you have to pay state income tax. Like, it's bad enough that the feds are taking your money. The state's taking your money too. South Dakota, like Florida and Texas and a few other states, there is no state income tax. Like, the federal government will take their money, of course, and the state isn't going to take any of my money. So I don't know. Had a 5-year relationship. It didn't work out. She found a new person. I'm broke. I had to leave, you know. She had a new person, new boyfriend and stuff. We were just being roommates. That's a story in itself. And I left. That's a whole story in itself. I'm not really here to talk about like my relationships or any of that stuff. The point of this video is mostly just to say, like, you know, I don't really understand the point of like living in a big city anymore. You understand? Like, I was born and raised in rural America, tiny town, South Dakota. Cheap rent, affordable cost of living. If you look at a statistic guide, you'll find out that South Dakota is like the fourth most affordable place and all that stuff. Colorado, it's damn near in the top 10. It seems like a place like Los Angeles and New York City and Denver and all these big cities are just insanely expensive to live in. It's like you come from a little town like I do and you think like the grass is greener just because the city is bigger and there's more job opportunities and all that stuff. But then you get there, the rent and the cost of living is a lot more, and the wages are literally the same. It's almost like you have a better chance like where I came from, and I almost don't even know why I left. I'm not going to say the last 10 years of my life were like a waste of time or anything. They weren't exactly a waste of time. I went out to Colorado for a reason. It's because I didn't want to live in South Dakota for the rest of my life, even though I'm back now. But with the high cost of living and the fact that everyone's homeless there and everyone's like one paycheck away from being homeless, among other things, I don't know. I don't think a place like Denver or LA or New York is for me. So I decided to come back here to South Dakota, and I'm back now. Cheap rent, high paying job. It's one of the highest paying jobs that I've ever had. But like I said, Colorado wasn't all bad, you know. Minus the high cost of living, I think Colorado's a fine place to live. It's a beautiful place to live. Like, I don't have any bad beef with Colorado. I just have bad beef with Denver and Colorado Springs' high cost of living. Like I said, South Dakota, where I'm from, I didn't see homeless people. I came back now 10 years later, I haven't seen a single homeless person. We don't have homeless people here. I don't know what homelessness is. I didn't know what homelessness is. I didn't know what homelessness was till I went out to Colorado. You get out to Colorado, you stop at every intersection, you see homelessness. Every stop sign you stop at, you got someone holding a cardboard sign in your face. Like, yeah, go to a place like Denver and you'll see what homelessness is like. It's everywhere. It's rampant. And I almost don't blame these people. I understand it. I know people will stereotypically like talk shit about these people and be like, oh, they chose that life. Oh, they want to be homeless. Oh, they don't want to work. Yeah, okay. Go ahead and lose your job for a week or two, not have any money coming in for a week or two, and then you fall behind on your bills. The bills don't stop coming. You got to pay your electric bill. You want to keep your internet on, right? Oh, we have priorities. You don't need internet. You're right. But you need a phone, don't you? You probably got to pay for your cell phone. I mean, how are you getting a job? How are these employers going to contact you? You probably need internet. How are you applying for jobs? This isn't the 1990s anymore. Everything's online on Indeed, resumes, email. Like, nobody does these paper applications anymore. It's all online. You probably need internet to get a job. You probably need a phone to get a job. How are you getting to work? I mean, you can do Lyft and Uber and just give all your money back. I mean, it's already expensive the way it is. Imagine not having a car. It's already hard enough the way it is. Imagine not having a car. That's going to make it harder. Now you got more of your time going to like riding the bus. That's a cheap alternative, and you can do that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Or you can be quick about it, pay Lyft and Uber, and then you just got a lot of money going to another expense. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be here all day if I talk about the past 10 years of Colorado and shit like that, you know, about relationships and jobs and all that stuff. I guess I'm just here to say, like, I'm very glad to be back in South Dakota. But, you know, I do have a little bit of regret. When I left South Dakota, I had a house. A 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house on 2 plots of land. I was doing all right. And then, I don't know, I lost my job. That's a story, right? Job that I had, a high-paying job. It was a nice job, and the job allowed me to get a bank loan and buy a house. I never had an apartment until I went out to Colorado. I would have never been able to buy a house out in Colorado. Colorado, like, ruined my credit damn near. Now I gotta, like, work to get my credit right again. That's a story in itself, too. So a lot of stories I could tell about Colorado, but I want to keep this try to keep this simple about it's expensive and the high cost of living and how, you know, I'm back here in South Dakota and my rent is like barely $7.25. I think I can actually survive now. After a week of work at $25 an hour and things like that, I'll have all my bills paid. And then after, like, you know, more weeks, I'll be able to stack my money. I'll be able to buy stuff. You know, I'll actually be able to do stuff. Out in Colorado, I didn't get to do anything. Even having a significant other, we didn't really get to go on dates, go out, have fun. Every penny, every dime was being thrown at bills. You know what I mean? Like, you're making like at barely $2,000, maybe. Like, jobs only want to pay 16, 17, 18, or 19, right? Maybe 20 if you're lucky. And they only want to max you out at 40. You're only making like 500 a week. You're not really making anything. I mean, all your bills, I mean, if your rent's like $1,500 and then your electricity's like over $100, and then your cell phone payment, and then your car insurance and your car note and your groceries, it's like, dude, you need like $2,000 or $3,000 or some shit to even like pay your bills. You're making just enough money in Colorado to pay your bills. You don't do anything out in Colorado. People out in Colorado act like you need to have 2 or 3 jobs just to pay your bills, you know? Oh, you're not making enough money? Just get a second job. Oh, you're not making enough money? Just get a third job. Dude, in South Dakota, I had a job, a singular job, 40 hours a week or more, as much as I wanted to, and I bought a fucking house. Just get 2 or 3 jobs out in Colorado, right? Just to pay your bills. Oh, be a hustler. Hustler mentality. No wonder there's fucking homeless people everywhere. It's a fucking rat race. No wonder there's homeless people all over Denver and Colorado Springs. That's the mentality of these people. Just get 3 jobs so you can pay your bills and just have just barely enough time to sleep and then just go right back to work every day. What's the fucking fun in that? Like, what's the reason? I don't even understand why people want to live in a place like Denver or Colorado Springs. I'm surprised more people don't move to the middle of nowhere and just get a high-paying job with cheap rent. Just find a reasonable location like Yankton, where I'm from. Or anywhere in South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, or just somewhere. These big-ass cities, like, do not seem worth it. Like, I made just enough money in Colorado every month just to pay my bills and still be broke every month. I'm surprised I made it 10 years. I'm very glad to be back, though, like I said. I don't have to work a whole month to pay my bills, it seems like. I just have to work a week. And then the other 3 or 4 weeks of the month, the paychecks, it's my money to stack. I'm going to be making thousands of dollars and only be barely paying $1,000 in bills, you know what I mean? Like, I got a car, it's paid off. Car insurance, next 6 months, paid off. What do I have to pay for? $725 in rent. Internet, $75. My current electric bill is only $31. Cell phone bill, it's like less than $100. My bills are like barely $1,000. Gas and groceries, sure, that'll be a little extra, probably. Cool. But I can pay for that in like a week of work. Seriously. And then a couple extra weeks, it's just stacking money at that point. Colorado, Denver, Colorado Springs, living in a big-ass city, that would never happen. You make like just enough money to still be broke every month. Anyways, probably be here a lot longer if I got into like how my relationships went, or getting into the specific of jobs and just getting into this, getting into that, getting into this, getting into that. I don't think I want to make this an hour, fucking 12-hour video here. We could be here all day talking about every day of my life in Colorado and how that went. I don't think it's important. I think the point of this video is just to say that, you know, I left for Colorado after 10 years ago. I know why I left. Sounded good on paper. I never saw homeless people until I went to Colorado. Never lived in an apartment until I went to Colorado. And I had money when I went out to Colorado. Now I came back 10 years later with no money. So, I don't know what else I really want to say. I'll probably just leave it there. Any farther and I'll probably just be rambling and just talking about nonsense. And this might be a good time to end the video. For those of you guys coming from a small town and, you know, rent is cheap and all this and you're bored, just, it's not all that bad. I've seen both sides of it. I came from little teeny tiny rural South Dakota, cheap rent, lot of money. There's still jobs and stuff. You still make money. And I've also now lived in a big city. I've lived in urban, okay? And I realize now that it's not cooler living in a big city just because it's a big city and there's more job opportunities. The rent is like double, if not triple, and the jobs are relatively paying the same anyways. Like I said, I'm back in South Dakota, and this is one of the highest paying jobs per hour that I've had probably ever. Out in Colorado, do you think I had a job that paid me $25 an hour? No, I didn't. Couldn't find that if I wanted to. Look on Indeed. You have to have like degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. They want you to have like 50 fucking years of work experience for these jobs that pay a lot. Got to have insurance licenses and just all these categories that you need to have to get these high paying jobs. I'm just saying, the grass isn't always greener. They're paying $20 an hour here in South Dakota too, you know what I'm saying? Like they're paying the same in Colorado that they're paying here. But the difference is I don't have to pay an arm and a leg, and I don't have to give all the money I earn every month to bills. I think I'm actually going to have a chance again here in South Dakota. Don't know how I lasted so long living in Denver and Colorado Springs, and I'm glad I didn't end up homeless, because there was a couple of months of rent there where I was behind. I mean, could have been evicted, but due to a string of luck, due to YouTube income, among other things, I never did end up homeless. I still don't know what it's like to be homeless, and I'm glad I don't, because there's fucking homeless people everywhere out there. Back here, what homeless people? And of course there's not. It's cheap rent, easy to live, affordable cost. Jobs are still paying $20 an hour and stuff. You actually have a chance. But anyways, I think that's mostly all I wanted to say. And I'm sorry if I've repeated myself in this video. I'm sorry if I've rambled, and I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this for a little bit. Got back to South Dakota now about a month ago. I just want to turn on the camera and just talk about it for a little bit. You know what I mean? There's way more to talk about. There's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot of details. It's like I'm barely scratching the surface here. Like you don't know anything about Colorado. I haven't barely explained anything. But I think I've explained enough. I think I've explained plenty. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. Have a good one. Have a great one. Catch you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Watch the next live stream. Watch the next video. Goodbye.